Did we really need to send Army reserves and Marines to Los Angeles to quell the protests, or is something else at play? Listen to Raphael Warnock explain.
On this week in which we celebrate the anniversary of the Army, he's using, if you will, the symbolism and the uniforms of our service members in a campaign to do what he's been doing for 10 years, and that is to convince us that we are at war with one another. That's really his project. He's trying to divide us because people who have no vision traffic in division. We can't be distracted because right now he's trying to pass his so-called big, beautiful bill that will literally create a context in which as many as 16 million Americans could lose their health care, and almost everybody in America is going to see their health care costs go up, even if you buy private insurance. That's what we're not saying enough.
That's right, folks. I live in Los Angeles. It's not that bad, but it's a distraction from their horrible, big, beautiful bill. And there's more distractions coming.
Your thoughts on the parade that's going to take place? Some Democrats are saying it's a waste of money.
Yeah. Never been a big fan of goose-stepping soldiers in big tanks and missiles rolling down the street. So if you ask me, I wouldn't have done it. I'm not sure what the actual expense of it is, but I'm not really, we were always different than, the images you saw of the Soviet Union and North Korea. We were proud not to be that. And I'm not proposing that that's the image people want to project, but I'm worried about the image, that it isn't necessarily the best image to show.
That was Republican Senator Rand Paul saying that he doesn't think this Army parade for Trump's birthday was a good idea. And then he went after his tariffs.
On the tariffs in particular, on the idea of trade is proportional to wealth. The last 70 years of international trade has been an exponential curve upwards, and the last 70 years of prosperity has been upwards also. We are richer because of trade with Canada, and so is Canada. Whenever you trade with somebody, when an individual buys somebody else's product, it's mutually beneficial or you wouldn't buy it. If the trade is voluntary, it's always beneficial. There is no Canada versus the U.S. The consumer wins when the price is the lowest price.
Wow, once again, criticizing Donald Trump from the Republican Party. How is he getting away with it? He keeps going.
Once this bill votes and this debt ceiling goes through, the debt is owned by the GOP, and there is no more campaigning and saying this is the Democrats. It will be owned by the Republicans, and I think that's a huge mistake.
And there you have it. He seems like he's the only guy in the Republican Party that's admitting that the national debt is going to go up because of this big, beautiful bill. Now, let's see what happens to Rand Paul because he criticizes Trump.
It's kind of a great time of the year in the summer. My family comes up. My son and daughter-in-law and grandson are coming up because we were going to the White House picnic, but I've just been told that I've been uninvited from the picnic. I think I'm the first senator in the history of the United States to be uninvited to the White House picnic. The White House is owned by the taxpayers. We all are members of it. Every Democrat will be invited. Every Republican will be invited, but I will be the only one disallowed to come on the grounds of the White House. I just find this incredibly petty. I mean, I have been, I think, nothing but polite to the president. I have been a intellectual opponent, a public policy opponent, and he's chosen now to uninvite me from the picnic and to say my grandson can't come to the picnic. I just the level of immaturity is beyond words.
Yes, folks, you heard right. He got uninvited from the White House picnic. Even Democrats were invited. But Rand Paul got uninvited because he's criticizing Donald Trump's policies. He said in that video you just saw that he's tried to be polite with him, but they disagree on policies. There was a time when America was about that. You could disagree with the president and it would be fine. You could stay cordial. You can work together in the future. Who knows? But now we have a little toddler in the White House, and he's upset that somebody dared criticize him from his own party. And by the way, the criticisms are very valid. Rand Paul pointed out that the tariffs are not good. These tariffs against Canada and Mexico are not good, and it's a mutually beneficial relationship that you have. I'm not saying the economy is perfect, but the tariffs are not helping. And then he also pointed out that this military parade is something that North Korea does, Russia does, not America. And Donald Trump keeps saying, I'm trying to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Army, and that's why I'm having the parade. Oh, it just so happens to be on my birthday. Oh, really? Oh, look at that. How convenient. This dude is a dictator. He's got authoritarian tendencies. And we saw that with that first clip where Raphael Warnock was calling him out on this idea that he wants to divide us. Donald Trump is trying to divide us by bringing in the military, bringing in Marines, and having them, lock down Los Angeles when the protests were in just a few blocks, mostly peaceful. You had some people that started rioting, but LAPD is one of the biggest police departments in the country. They can handle it. They don't need the military to show up. Once you militarize these protests, the danger level potential goes much higher. Because we saw in Kent State, for example, if something happens and somebody from the military shoots into the crowd and kills a protester, now we've got, real big problems. And he wants to divide us. He wants to divide us so that these people that work for the army, who are forced to go out into these streets and stop these peaceful protesters, are now pitted against these people that are protesting. And where does this all come from? This all comes from his push on the immigration situation. And the push on the immigration situation, let's not forget, during the campaign, he said, we're going to go after violent criminals that are here illegally. And he kept saying there's 20 million of them. Well, go figure, folks. Once they tried to look for 20 million violent criminals that are undocumented in America, they realized there's not that many. Matter of fact, American citizens commit more crimes percentage-wise than immigrants in general. Immigrants tend to come here to try and work hard and get their lives together, maybe send some money back home. Maybe they're fleeing a bad situation. But that's what he originally said. Then once he found out that there weren't that many undocumented violent criminals, he said, okay, let's just go after undocumented folks. Then they started going after people that have green cards. Then they deported a couple of people that are citizens. And so ICE is out there right now just running roughshod all over the Constitution. And most recently, the reason these raids are happening is because Stephen Miller, remember that guy, the really pleasant-looking fella who looks like Nosferatu? That guy actually went to the Homeland Security, and he had some meeting, the Wall Street Journal reported on this, where he was telling these agents, why are you guys not going to Home Depot and 7-Eleven and other places where these people are working, immigrants are working, and making arrests there? And so that's what started happening in Los Angeles. The ICE started showing up at a car wash. They were showing up at restaurants. They're showing up, they're going after farm workers, all of the above. All of the above, because they need to now meet a quota. Their quota is higher. Anytime any authority sets a quota, we got problems. Because the whole point of law enforcement is to enforce the laws when somebody breaks the laws. But when you set a quota and you say you need to arrest 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people per day, now that authority is going around going, well, I got to find more people to arrest. So they're finding people who might be here on temporary protection status, finding people who might be here waiting for their asylum hearings, and they're just arresting them and deporting them. Kids are losing their parents. People who have been in the community for years and years and years and contributed to the community are being deported, and that's what's causing the division. Even Donald Trump admitted that he wants to change his immigration policy for the farm workers and allow them to stay. So even he is saying, look, my policy was wrong. And yet, he's sending troops to California, wants to send troops to other states. That's the whole setup. They want to militarize everything. Authoritarian, authoritarian, authoritarian. That's the playbook. So God forbid somebody from the Republican Party says, yo, your policies aren't good. Kick him out of my picnic, because I'm a petty little boy. I'm a petty little boy. And that's the world we're living in right now, folks. So what do you got to do? What you got to do is you got to stay vigilant. You got to, if for whatever reason you're somewhere where ICE shows up and starts trying to arrest people, hey, let me see your warrants. What's going on here? Let's go. This is not right. People in some cities have stood up to ICE, and ICE has had to leave. Because a lot of these people that they're trying to arrest are really just people that are trying to make a better life for themselves, and they're contributing to our economy, and they're contributing to our families. They are the gardeners and the housekeepers and the cooks. And if you don't have these cooks in the kitchen, your food's going to be horrible. The strawberry pickers. Strawberry prices are going to start going up higher. Now, who's going to pick your strawberries, folks? Even farm owners right now are making calls to the White House going, yo, Donnie, back off. Back off. Tell your goons to back off. Masked goons going in and arresting people who are just trying to have a better life. And some people go, well, they should come here legally. Hey, some of them are asylum seekers. They're trying to come here legally. Is the immigration system broken? Yes, it is. But Republicans and Democrats got to get together in Congress and do something about it, and they haven't. The closest they got was during the elections, the Republicans and Democrats came together, had a bill that they were going to pass that was going to deal with some of these immigration issues, and Donald Trump, let's not forget, told the Republicans, don't vote yes on that bill, because if we find a solution to immigration, I won't be able to run on it. So once again, the little baby goes crying and screaming, kicks Rand Paul out of his picnic. I never thought I'd be defending Rand Paul. I'm not a big fan of Rand Paul's, but that's so petty. That's so petty. And meanwhile, he just keeps moving ahead, distracting us. Diggy. Look at the silver objects. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I got the military coming in to get rid of these 20 guys that are doing some bad things, and the several hundred people who are protesting in downtown LA. People that don't live in LA think that there's riots going on in LA. It's really, LA is not that bad right now. And so, by the way, if it got bad, you should wait for the local authorities like the mayor and the governor to ask for the National Guard. The last time the National Guard was called in without the governor asking for it was when in the 50s, when they were trying to the Brown versus Board of Education, and I think it was Governor McGovern or something that wasn't allowing the integration of schools. And so it was in the 60s, I'm sorry. JFK, I believe, called in the Guard to go in and enforce that law. So here we are. Donald Trump just once again just running roughshod as well all over the Constitution and trying to distract us. And why? Let's say why? Because he wants to pass this bill that's going to give billionaires big tax breaks. It's going to make the rich richer, and it's going to take away health insurance from tens of millions of people who need it, and it's going to make the poor poorer. So don't fall for it, folks. Don't fall for it, all right? Know your facts, present your facts, and I said defend your fellow human beings who are in this country trying to make a better lives for themselves, not breaking any laws, and trying to actually work their way towards becoming American citizens. I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I've got a YouTube channel right here. So give it a look. It's just at Maz Jobrani, and give it a follow. And let me know that you came to my page from Rebel HQ. I post stand-up comedy all the time. Hope you enjoy it. We all need a laugh. Bye.